There are two external cell structures that are involved in movement, cilia and flagella. Cilia, which is the plural form of the word cilium, are tiny little hairs that are on cells. Cilia can sometimes be confused with flagella, the singular of is flagellum. However, flagella are much longer structures, kind of like tails, whereas cilia are much shorter like hairs. Cilia also don't act alone. There are usually thousands of them, if not more. And they're usually on cells that have to move the external environment around them. Paramecia have cilia all around them, and it moves their watery environment around them in search of food. The cells of your trachea also have cilia. All of these little cilia, they wave in unison, moving mucus upward into your throat so you can swallow it unknowingly. The flagellum is basically a tail. However, instead of moving back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, the tail has a rotary motion, as pictured here. The only cell in the human body that has a flagellum is spermatozoa, which is the official name for sperm. As you can see, the flagellum is a structure that's found completely outside of the cell membrane, but it's connected to something called the basal body, which is basically just a huge protein inside the cell membrane. This allows the flagellum to twist round and round and round and create rotary movement, propelling the cell through the environment instead of moving the environment around the cell as cilia do. Bacteria have flagella, sometimes more than one. Sometimes they even have flagella coming out of different areas on them to give them precise movement. And this is what horrifies me, because this is how one little bacterium can get down into your organs and then just settle in and make copies of itself because it's nice and warm and moist. You can see an enhanced view of a cell membrane here. On the top is the outside of the cell, and on the bottom is the inside. Inside a cell is what's called a cytoskeleton, which seems kind of boring at first. Yes, yeah. It is like our skeleton, providing support. But the cytoskeleton in individual cells is an intricate network of filaments along which proteins are transported. It's like a highway. Check out the video link at the top right of the slide once you're done with the PowerPoint. The link is a TED Talk with some projected views of what the cytoskeleton may look like. The outside of a cell, especially in your body, is also an intricate network of proteins like collagen with cells suspended throughout. Your lymph nodes are a network of fibers that your white blood cells move through while they scan other cells that are also moving through that matrix. Think of desmosomes like snaps on your jacket. Actually, it might be even more appropriate to think of them like buttons on a shirt. In our bodies, especially in tissues that experience a lot of stress or stretching, like skin, heart, and muscle tissue, cells have to stick together tightly so they don't get like pulled apart from each other. And that's where desmosomes come in. I have here a picture of the epidermis of skin, which is kind of like your hard candy shell on the outside. This is the outside with a few dead cells that are sloughing off there. And this is the inside or deeper into the body. Desmosomes are, as you can see, they're scattered throughout all of the cells in these layers that form the epidermis. A desmosome is constructed of a few different parts that we can see down here. There are these attachment plaques or proteins, and they're kind of like, well, they are anchored to the cytoskeleton of each of the cells. These little hairs there that increase the surface area of attachment are there to just do that, make a more secure attachment to the cell. Between the attachment plaques or proteins, in the space in between the cells, are these proteins called cadherins. And we've seen these before. They're basically adhesive proteins. These adhesive proteins, they span the gap between the two cells, holding the attachment plaques in place.